What if your doctor says that your BMI of 23 is perfectly healthy, but new data shows that your real risk of type 2 diabetes is 800, 700% higher? By now we have a bunch of large studies proving this. This video is on racial differences based on ancestry in risk factors, especially metabolic disease. I'm going to use the example of South Asians today: Indians, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, Sri Lankan, and I'm going to be doing one of these videos on all the different racial groups. The clinical implications are really important. So if you're South Asian or you just are interested in this topic, I'm going to focus on some of these cardiometabolic risks. I believe this is neglected precision medicine, so let's dive right in. I'm Dr. Omar. I'm a Harvard-trained physician, and I'll give you evidence-based insights that you can apply to improving your health. If you're interested, check out my newsletter, medicalwisdom.org, where I provide some deeper dives and some personal intakes on how I think about things. So the first thing for South Asians is the thin fat phenotype, where you have more dangerous fat at lower weight. The core finding is that this skinny fat or normal weight obesity phenotype is more common in South Asians because they have higher visceral fat and ectopic fat when they appear slim. One meta-analysis found that at a BMI of just 24 in men and 26 in women, in South Asians, this equivalent amount of fat mass would equal what a European American or white Europeans carry at a BMI of 30. And even when you adjust for height and age and weight, South Asian males had 28% higher total fat mass, 36% higher abdominal fat mass, and 11% lower free fat mass than European Americans. And you can see this in DEXA scans, body composition scans. There's some really big studies, one called the Masala and Mesa studies, that show that South Asians have greater visceral fat. Intermuscular fat means fat within their muscles, and hepatic fat, liver fat, and less lean mass compared to Chinese Americans, European Americans. The only group that had a little bit more visceral fat was Japanese Americans at the same BMI, but South Asians consistently show the most unfavorable combination for metabolic risk. And the key thing is that this ectopic fat, this fat inside the liver and the muscles, it's not stored fat. It's actively releasing inflammatory cytokines and all these nasty free fatty acids straight into the liver, the pancreas, increasing insulin resistance and beta cell stress. That's the key mechanism. And so next, we know that there's about higher prevalence of diabetes at the same healthy weights, and the progression of diabetes is faster for South Asians. And here the numbers are really hard to ignore. One study in Kaiser Permanente of over 1 million adults, South Asians have the highest age and sex-adjusted diabetes prevalence compared to European Americans, African Americans, and Latinos. Even more striking is when you look at just people who have a BMI of 18.5 to 23, there we see the rates of diabetes in South Asians are hundreds of percentages higher than other groups. And if you just look at the overall prevalences, they're really high. So in this Masala analysis, if you just look at the normal weight individuals, about 43% of South Asians had metabolic abnormality versus just 21% in the European Americans. And so for a white individual at a BMI of 25, the equivalent BMI of equal risk for a South Asian would be 19.6. So that's really low to get the same level of risk. And that's why a lot of our BMI calculations don't really apply across racial groups. And a lot of associations have suggested different BMI cutoffs by race. So how is this happening? Why is it happening? Well, there's more insulin resistance in South Asians from this ectopic or visceral fat. Plus, there's more beta cell dysfunction in the pancreas in South Asians at the same BMIs compared to other groups. And South Asians more commonly present with the severe insulin deficient diabetes subtype. It's a specific type of diabetes rather than the classic type 2 diabetes, which is insulin resistant dominant. That's kind of complicated, but there's basically subtypes of diabetes and some are more insulin deficient. So South Asians are going to progress from prediabetes to diabetes faster and potentially need different treatment responses. The next thing to consider is that cardiovascular disease, heart attacks and such, these are extremely underestimated by the standard tools out there because South Asians are at about double the risk. And you see this in the UK Biobank data. South Asians had about twice the risk of cardiovascular disease. And even after they were adjusting for 18 different lifestyle factors and other metrics, the hazard ratio is still 45% higher. So these standard calculators that your doctor might give you, these pooled cohort equations, they're going to miss the excess risk in South Asians. The other thing that's really interesting is that in South Asians, the association between BMI, triglycerides, hemoglobin A1C, which is blood sugar level, all of those things with cardiovascular disease are actually stronger. So those things matter more in predicting cardiovascular disease in South Asians. Another thing is you may have heard of LPA. It's a molecule in the blood that increases the risk of cardiovascular disease. Well, South Asians have approximately 50% higher levels than European Americans. And in this Interheart study, South Asians showed the highest risk of LPA for heart attack compared to any other group. Now, South Asians don't actually have the highest LPA. That's actually African Americans. Nonetheless, because of all these other factors, South Asian ancestry is formally recognized as a heart disease risk enhancing factor in national guidelines. So some doctors will start statins earlier with lower risk thresholds in South Asian populations. And again, the mechanism behind this is probably the skinny fat phenotype, the normal weight obesity phenotype, plus the high lipids, high triglycerides, low HDL, and small dense LDL particles. So there's a lot of different types of LDL particles, but the small dense ones are dangerous, and these are seen more commonly in South Asians, plus all the inflammatory responses to the visceral fat. So all this standard BMI and waist cutoffs that are derived from mostly studies in European American populations, they're going to underestimate the risk for South Asians. Now, in terms of what to do about this, well, you want to definitely talk about this if you are South Asian with your doctor, or if you're wanting to help a friend out, talk to them about this. But the first thing I would recommend if I was talking to someone in this category was to have a lower threshold for screening. So diabetes screening should happen at BMI of 23. This is the American Diabetes Association's recommendation versus 25 BMI in the general population. Even now we see data showing maybe even a BMI of 22 is still a risky category for South Asians. For you, so definitely I would not take the standard cutoffs at face value. The second thing is waist circumference. So the waist circumference cutoffs for high risk are going to be lower for South Asians. So for males, it will be 90 centimeters, about 35 inches. And for females, 80 centimeters. That's going to be about 8 to 10 centimeters lower than European Americans. So the waist circumference really needs to be under control at a lower threshold. The other thing is I would suggest risk stratification changes, meaning like assessment of actual risk of cardiovascular disease to be changed based on ethnicity for South Asians. Because, for example, when somebody's going to get a coronary calcium score, that should probably be pushed a little bit higher for a high risk population. In this one study, the Masala study, people who had intermediate risk, about 37% had a CAC score, coronary calcium score above 100. And those were people who were categorized as intermediate risk. The other thing is you want to go beyond LDL. You have to look at the LPA at least once in one's life. Because again, we know for South Asians, this is higher than for European Americans. And then also considering ApoB and non-HDL targets, especially ApoB, because we know that's going to predict atherosclerosis a lot better than the other lipids. Now, in terms of treatment, there's some studies showing that South Asians may derive greater benefits in reducing cardiovascular risk from GLP-1 receptor agonists. And of course, there's other medicines that are really helpful for everyone. And especially we know there's a lot of high fatty liver in the South Asian community, about 35% overall, and 60% in South Asians with diabetes. So treating the fatty liver is really important. And there's a medicine called an SGLT2 inhibitor that's been studied for these populations. And glitazone has been studied to address insulin resistance and also can decrease the risk of stroke. There's some data on that. The other thing to consider is lifestyle, because a lot of these risks are genetic, but some of them are also cultural and lifestyle based. Changing nutrition, changing high carb traditional diets, lowering coconut oil, ghee, and so on, increasing physical activity, focusing on muscle and protein instead of vegetarian diets. In addition, I recommend South Asians to lower their threshold for getting a fibroscan for the liver, checking on their fatty liver score, because oftentimes I'll see people who are normal weight but have advanced fatty liver. And you can't tell that by looking at someone. A common question I get is, why do these differences exist? I think they probably reflect different evolutionary, developmental, and genetic factors over time in combination with the modern environments, nutrition, and so on. But one theory is that this greater propensity for central fat storage in South Asians is a result of responding to ancestral conditions where there were a lot of famines. So people in the past would be more likely to survive if they were able to hold on to fat better. But now in the modern environment, where more people are dying of diabetes than starvation, it's a dysfunctional adaptation. Nonetheless, we can say there's definitive evidence of higher risk at lower BMIs, the need for lower waist circumference thresholds, detecting fatty liver, visceral fat, and being more aggressive with diabetes screening and treatment. I know there's a lot here. So if you'd like a PDF to download where that will help you give information you could talk about with your doctor, feel free to check out the link in the description. which will summarize a lot of these details. I really hope this has been helpful. If you are South Asian or care for someone or know someone who is, feel free to share this video with them. Let me know your questions and feel free to check out this other video or sign up for my newsletter where I go into more deeper dives and give some more personal takes. Thanks so much.